Good morning and welcome to my first teaching video. The topic is on identifying the theme of the story. We will also provide evidence and explain how that evidence connects to our theme. And that is today's learning objective. So before we move on, I want to make sure that everybody understands what the theme is. And the theme is pretty much the life lesson the author wants to teach us through the story. Sometimes it's called the big idea. Here I have two basic examples. Hopefully, you've read The Three Little Pigs. And one of the themes addressed in that particular story is hard work and planning ahead can keep you safe. And maybe you have also read The Little Red Riding Hood. And one of those themes is to be careful and not trust strangers. Some students think that the theme is a one word, such as courage and friendship. Well, as you can see, the theme is a statement, it is a lesson. Friendship and courage are actually theme topics that are found in most of our stories that we're going to read. Okay, so 11 is a story that we will select to identify the theme by Sandra Cisneros. And it's because we read it yesterday. So hopefully it's still fresh in your mind. We will be using the worksheet Identify the Theme. As of this point, I'm going to ask you to follow along the video and fill in your worksheet as we go along. If I'm too fast for you, you can always go back and replay. And this worksheet is basically a series of steps that are going to help us identify the theme effectively. So once again, like I mentioned before, so these are some theme topics that are found in literature: jealousy, kindness, acceptance, and so forth. You will have about 175 theme topics that you can choose from and make connections to the story 11. So that is actually the first step, to identify at least 4 theme topics that you think the author addressed in the story. And I went ahead and selected 4: identity, fear, growing up, and emotions. So why emotions? Well, as you hopefully remember, Rachel says she wants to cry and disappear. And even though she's turning 11, she still feels like a younger child. Her emotions are strong and they take over. So that kind of shows that big feelings are a major part of the story. Fear. Rachel doesn't speak up when she knows the red sweater isn't hers. She's afraid to stand up to her teacher. And I think that fear of speaking out and being misunderstood could be a potential theme. Okay, so step 2 is actually to select one of those top theme topics, one that you feel resonated from the beginning to the end of the story. So I selected growing up. And once I select the theme topic, I'm going to use the sentence starter the author wants me to know to help me come up with the theme. I will include the theme topic in my statement. So this is what I came up with. The author wants me to know that growing up is hard because you don't always feel your age inside. So once I have my preliminary theme, I'm going to move on to step 4. And in step 4 and 5 is basically to think about the theme I wrote. Is it a general message or about a life? And yes, growing up and not feeling our age is something that it's first of all, it's a general statement and it is a life lesson. Step 5, is it a message that other stories could have? And I'm going to say absolutely. As a matter of fact, we will be reading The Outsiders, and The Outsiders is full of growing pains. So we will definitely be exploring growing up a little bit more as we read the story. So once we have the theme and we say yes to step 4 and 5, we're going to drop the sentence stem and just write the theme. And the theme is growing up is hard because you don't always feel your age. So once again, the author wants me to know, we will drop it and just write the theme. Once we have the theme, now I need to provide evidence from the story. And I pulled out an excerpt from the story. I will read it out loud for you. What they don't understand about birthdays and what they never tell you is that when you are 11, you're also 10 and 9 and 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. So I went ahead and extracted part of that excerpt as a quote. So basically, I just copied it down and I started with another sentence stem. According to the text, when you're 11, you're also 10 and 9 and 8. So once I have my evidence, I move on to explaining the evidence. And this is very important. This is where I'm going to ask you to really stretch your brain a little bit because you're not going to get this from the book. This statement, the explanation of the evidence, is from your personal understanding of the evidence. So mine is the following: Rachel doesn't feel completely grown up. The author is showing that growing up can be confusing because we can still carry our younger feelings with us. And we are done. So we have the theme, we provide evidence, and we explain the evidence to connect it to our theme. So finding the theme is, like I mentioned before, being a detective. You look for clues in the story that help you understand the author's message. Using this worksheet will keep you organized and will help you explain your thinking clearly. So now it's your turn. I'm going to ask you to go ahead and grab a story and try using the worksheet to find the theme. I'm excited to see what themes you find. Until the next time.